What's up?
I caught you off guard. Well, first of all, I want to say something real quick. I want to congratulate you on your book, and I'm gonna pull up a picture of it. You finally got it done, and we got our who's a sponsor of us, Vicky, Paplo, Vicky. Don't kill me, but we're just proud of you. We want to say congratulations.
I appreciate it. You know, it's 2 years of work, and like I said, you know, in the pre-show, 9 different publishers I tried to get to take this book on. No one wanted it, and Vicky gave me a chance.
There you go. That's why we love her. She doesn't judge.
I greatly appreciate it, because now I can start working again on volume 2. I've already got the first 3 chapters done, so it's just now I can jump back on that. But we're gonna have a great show tonight. My book aside, you know, tonight's show is not about me having a book out now. My show tonight is we're gonna highlight a good friend of mine. As a matter of fact, he's one of the people who started talking to me about coming on your network after I was on his show. And I love this guy to death. He has so much knowledge, not just paranormal wise, but faith wise. And tonight we have on Reverend Father Shane McLean. So
there he is.
Hello.
What is going on, brother? How are you?
I'm good. I'm too blessed to be stressed, man. And plus my wife's here anyway. And Gwen can tell you anytime my wife is here, and she don't want to hear that mess anyway. So
I feel you. So we'll go ahead and tell you, Shane, if I get on a coughing fit, or if I have to blow my nose or something, I am still kind of getting over a little bit of a sinus infection. So
I got you, brother.
Yeah,
I got you. And congratulations on your book, man. I saw that, and that's fantastic. I'd really like to have a link to your book so I can share it out to different platforms, and I'll share it out to our order and stuff like that, and get you some orders in there, man.
I'll go ahead and send it to you.
Gwen can send it to you, or I'll send it to you after the show, whichever works. Gwen, I think, is working on a computer. I'm on my phone, so I'd have to exit the show to do that.
I actually want a good computer tonight.
Yeah, so, you know, for people out there who do not know who Shane is, let me tell you guys, this dude's into a lot of stuff, okay? He has the Outer Realms Paranormal. He's got the Order of the Archangels. You know, he's a assistant pastor, I believe, of the Knights Templar Unity Church. You were kind of like all over the place, man. So for those out there watching my show who do not know who you are, could you tell us more about yourself and what it is that you do?
Yeah, no, we do have, we were previously Knights Templar Unity Church, but we have blended now with the independent Catholic ministry. So we have full apostolic succession with the independent Catholic ministry. So now we are Knights Templar independent Catholic ministry. Same concept. We're just apostolic succession now. So we concentrate more in the order with the Knights Templars, but we are a spiritual warfare ministry. We concentrate on spiritual warfare, demonology, exorcisms, house cleansings. I work inside the paranormal. I am not a paranormal clergy. I'm a clergy that works inside the paranormal. So I do believe in the paranormal. I had my first experience when I was 10 years old. And I remember being a pastor in a church for 3 years and having people come in with real problems. And the only thing that the church would say is, oh, we'll put you on the prayer list and we'll pray for you. Well, sometimes it takes a little more than prayers. So I stepped away and I took on spiritual warfare ministry. And it's not for everybody, but I do. And I knew when I created Outer Realms, I wanted a base platform that I can use for networking. And we're a little over 2 years into Outer Realms right now, and we're pushing 3,300 members on our second year. But we use that as a platform for all other teams. I invite all other teams to put their stuff. I don't put any kind of restrictions. I don't want any kind of bad stuff on there or nothing like that. I don't like doxing. I don't like the backstabbing or drama or anything like that. But I open it up for them, but I use that inside the order too. So when we go and we do a case, we work a case from the investigation to the identifying, to the clearing, to the cleansings, to the demonology part of it, to the exorcism part of it. I mean, we do it all.
I love that. So you used a word there that I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure I could pronounce. Apostle what?
What are you talking about?
It started with an A.
Apostolic succession.
First off, can you spell that for me?
What apostolic? You know, it's the apostles. You know, like the first century apostles. Okay. You know, like after Jesus. You know, the you know when the church was created in Antioch, you know, when it came through in Antioch, where the first apostles came through, you know, Peter, Paul, and all them, you know, that's who we look to for a lot of the base on our belief. And our order wanted full apostolic succession. That means that we want to mimic, you know, our beliefs and our studies and our things to first century apostles. And now that can only happen through the first and only church, which is the Catholic Church, the independent Catholic Church. Now, we are not Roman Catholic. We are independent Catholic. We are separated from Rome. We don't have the Pope. We don't have things like that. We have bishops. I have a bishop that's in our order. And that's what we use.
Right.
We have another Reverend Father that's in the UK. We have got a member that is a part of clergy in West Africa. We have one that's in South Africa. We just picked up one in Australia, and we're all over the United States.
So it's worldwide.
Yep.
And so can you explain to everybody if there is a difference, which I do believe, in my personal belief there is a difference between Roman Catholicism and people who study what I would call Americanized Catholicism. I may be miswording that on how I word it, but that's what I call it.
Well, you know, Roman Catholic, you know, that's one of the biggest, you know, set grounded religions, you know, in the world. I mean, we're talking billions.
Hello, Kitty.
We're talking billions. And I'm sorry.
No,
But yeah, we probably got 20 something in here.
I love cats, so it's all good.
Mm-hmm.
If the cat wants pets, the cat demands pets, and when it wants pets.
That's Sammy.
Oh, well, hey, Kitty.
Mm-hmm.
So cute.
No, Roman Catholic is, you know, the Vatican, you know, the answer to the Pope, you know, and stuff like that. And the biggest thing is different between us and independent is that we don't have a Pope. And I mean, we have a good base level when it comes to apostolic succession, you know, as far as the first century apostles, second, third century, things like that, where the Catholics really started making their base with it. But just a little bit of the bylaws and, you know, things like that we don't agree with.
Okay.
You know, so I mean, but it's not enough to where we stay separate from each other, because we're all in this. Anybody that's in spiritual warfare ministry is in this for the exact same things. And when you're looking at it from the apostles' point of view, you got to think back in those days, you know, Jesus says that you can cast out demons, you can call out demons. I mean, like when Jesus went up to Legion that was in there, Jesus walked up and didn't say a word. and Legion had 6 different demons in it, and people had tried. They bound this man to a cave that was next to pigs and stuff like that. Bound him to a cave, and because he was so strong, and he had 6 different demons, and Jesus walked up on Legion, walked up, and Legion turned and says, "What do you want from me, Son of God?"
So correct me
So
if I'm
six
wrong on
demons,
this.
6 demons recognized him, and they recognized his power, and he knew right off. And they said, "Well, please don't kill us. If you do, cast us off into these swine." And so, with the swift of a hand, he said, "Demons, get out." And as soon as he got out, the demons went into the swine, and they went and they drowned themselves in the water. And see, what makes that in Jewish tradition, what people don't realize is that there's symbolics behind that too, because a Jewish person was never supposed to be a swine herder, and this Jew was herding swine, which is considered an unclean animal.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yep.
So when he casted them into unclean animals, and that was almost a punishment to the guy for having those pigs on there, and he was locked up with an unclean spirit with unclean animals in an unclean area.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but like when people go out on paranormal investigations, right? And say like they're using an obelisk device or they're using some kind of spirit box, and they get the word Legion, a lot of people they kind of take that a little bit out of context, because yes, from a spiritual standpoint, Legion means I am many, correct?
6 or more.
6 or more. So yeah, so if you get that word though, could it legitimately just be a random word and they're reading too much into it because they've looked too much into it? Or
Well, you got to think about something too. When you start, you have to, my first rule in paranormal is debunk everything obvious first. And you have to do that with spirit box sessions too. And you have to look, you said, is this an entity that's trying to make itself something that it's not? Because like if you go in with a fearful level and you start dropping words like evil, demon, killer, stuff like that, if that draws fear to you, then
it's gonna
it can
capitalize
use
on it.
those same words to come back at you to keep that fear level, because it generates an energy that will give that strength.
I agree. It's going to capitalize on it, and it's going to do everything possible to make itself stronger based off of the fear that you're giving off, the energy it can
Right.
absorb. I completely agree with that. So going
Yep.
off of that basis, let me tell you, when your times of doing the Outer Realms Paranormal, have you guys ever come into a case where, say, a new team went into a location, right? They were completely inexperienced. They thought they knew what they were doing because they watched all these TV shows and they read 1 or 2 books, which they probably skimmed through and never even actually read. And they provoked and they poked the bear, so to speak,
Yep.
or the beehive, and they just made the situation worse, and you guys had to come in and clean up. Have you
Yeah.
encountered that before?
Yes. My wife and I actually, at the end of this year, for one of our cases, we're actually going to be on the show, My Haunted Hometown, season 2.
Nice.
and
Congratulations.
that was one of my cases that was right around here. And this case had 2 paranormal teams go in and stir it up. They brought in a demonologist and a priest. That still didn't work. My wife and I went in, we investigated, we acknowledged, we found out who it or what it was that was in there. We did the clearing, we did the cleansing, we did the blessings of the house, the blessing of the family, and stuff like that. And I still contact that guy today, and he has had no issues since we left because of how thorough we are when we go into a house.
And exactly what you just said is another main point I want to bring up. When you're a paranormal investigation team and you do residential cases,
Mm-hmm.
you do not just go in, work the case, and then drop the client. I don't even call them clients. You don't drop the people. You keep in contact with them afterwards. So you know if things are coming back, if things are ramping up. Maybe you need to acquire a little bit more help that was outside of your realm of expertise.
Yep, I would also recommend, when you say that, about these other teams and things like that, I would recommend that if you are trying to get in doing residentials, that you have a way that you can progressively help that person.
Yes.
Because
is
that's
key.
the problem that I've seen, is that people will contact paranormal teams, and they have no way. They'll go in and they'll get a bunch of evidence. They'll get it for video. They'll get it for YouTube. They'll get it like this, and they stir it up. And they said, "Well, oh yeah, you definitely get a haunting," and they'll send the people the video, whatever it is,
But
and
you
then
don't
they
you
leave,
don't
and
do
then their
anything to help.
situation gets worse.
Yeah, because they don't do anything to help.
Right.
They
Right.
don't have the outside contacts to say, hey, look, I've got this case. These people need some help.
Right.
And here's the thing, they're looking at going in and they're looking for the YouTube fame. They're looking for all this other stuff. And that's not the reason you get into the paranormal. I've been doing this for 18 years. I never thought I'd have a podcast. I never thought I'd write a book. I never thought I'd be doing these events because I didn't do it for that. I got into it to help people with experiences that I had myself. And
I don't film on cases. I don't film on cases. I don't charge on cases.
neither do I.
If I've got, the only thing that I ask some, if we have to travel long distance,
Gas money.
is travel, gas money and stuff like
Yep.
that. But
That's
as
it.
far as the case itself, I never charge for anything like that.
And I can tell you from my experience, and I can't speak for every team out there, okay? I'm going to speak from my experience, and any team out there watching this, if you get butthurt by what I say, that's you. I'm sorry, you do not charge someone if they need the help. You don't.
That's right.
If you have to travel, say 7 or 8 hours, and yeah, then it's okay to ask them, hey, could you do me a favor? You don't have to, but could you donate them for a little bit of travel money as far as gas and
Right.
stuff?
Right.
But you
Especially
don't
like
charge.
what I tell people is, like, within a 2 hour radius, either way around, northeast,
So
southwest, 2 hours, anything over 2 hours, gas money would be helpful.
I agree with that, William. It's so wrong when someone goes into a place and tells the client to sell their home. Now, are there extreme circumstances where the land is so cursed that the home may not be able to be saved?
Yeah.
Hey, can you see the comment, William?
Yeah,
But,
I just read it.
okay, Shane can't see it, so let us read it for him.
Okay.
He can't. He's on the phone. Many times I've had to go in to clean up so-called experienced investigators' messes. Some people are actually told to sell their homes just wrong. That's what he was saying.
It is because
Is that William Tabone?
Yes.
That is our Archangel Knight in Australia.
Oh, okay. Hey, William.
William, how are you? But I agree with what he's saying right there 100% because it is wrong. Because in I would say 98% of the cases, the home does not have to be sold. You just have to have the right people there cleansing the home.
Right. But identifying, what it is too, you got to think, not only the land, but you have to check, all the elements around the house. I mean, I know a case that was worked that there was a tree that was in the yard on the fence line or whatever that had a family relative buried at the base of it. Well, the guy wanted to cut that tree down, and every time he went to go cut the tree down, all his equipment stopped working, and then he would have increased activity in the house. When they stopped trying to cut that tree, then the activity stopped around in the house. So they don't like a lot of changes, because you got to think that's their house. They were there first, and if you go in and you're trying to make a bunch of changes and stuff like that, that can definitely increase a lot of the paranormal activity in a house.
Yeah, it's just like when you own or buy an older property and you start renovating the inside of the house. The same thing can happen if you do renovations on the outside, and that includes yard clearing, gardening, even sometimes. I've encountered that. I actually encountered the case in Alabama that was referred to me by another team that said that they couldn't handle it because the case was quote unquote demonic. And I went in there, and I'm not a demonologist by any means. But I went in because you first have to capture the evidence to present. Once you capture the evidence to present, then the church may or may not send someone in to collect their own evidence. You know the chain, Shane. You do.
Yep.
And here was the thing. What I discovered was they had a lot of high-powered power lines as well as transformers around their house. And the EMF in that house was a constant 10.7 in every single room.
Oh, that'll give you migraines. That'll give you migraines. That'll give you that'll make your body shake and stuff like that.
It's what's called electromagnetic hypersensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I concluded that it was. And I told them, look, I don't think you're actually experiencing a haunting here. This is what's going on. I want you guys to do me a favor. Leave the house for a week. Go to a hotel. Tell me if you're still experiencing the same things. I know it's not the same location, but I can rule out the hypersensitivity.
Right.
They called me and said they had the best week they had ever had. They went home. They were home for 3 days. I called them. How are you doing? Oh, we're doing great. We've had no experiences. Because hypersensitivity takes a little bit to set in. Yep. And so after about I think it was 2 or 3 weeks.
It's a residual effect.
Yes. After about 2 or 3 weeks, they called me and said the stuff's starting to amp back up again. And that was the rare occurrence that I told a family that you may want to move. Only because you have all of these high-powered power lines and these transformers around your house.
Right.
You are all sensitive to the EMF that is in that house. You're creating in what's called a fear cage.
Right. And ley lines help, and I always check that as soon as I go into the house. I check all the electrical bases before I go. I see the power lines. I see if they're crossed. I see if there's many of them on both sides. I see the electromagnetic field on the outside compared to the inside when you stay outside and then go inside. I check everything out like that because, like I said, my first rule in the paranormal team is debunk everything obvious first.
Yep, and I do the same. And I'm looking for unshielded wiring. I'm looking for open fuse boxes. I'm looking for knob and tube. I'm looking for all these different aspects, power lines in proximity to the house. Like I'll walk the property and I'll sketch the property and I'll sketch where the power lines are. And I even pull out a tape measure so I can measure how far they are from the house based on what I can see. Because obviously I'm not on a ladder, but at least a close enough estimate that I can tell you, hey, I'm pretty sure this could be the issue, but we have to rule that out first.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And a lot of people don't take that approach when it comes to residential stuff. But here's the thing. You have to.
You have to. And I mean, dude, you can't, you hear of all these like people being ghost hunters and they call themselves professionals and stuff like that. Let me just break the monotony of people right now. There is no such thing as a professional in this field. There's no scientific evidence that can prove or back any of this stuff up. There is no concrete, sound, doctrinated evidence that will make it to where you can call yourself. Now, you can have a professional conduct that you have. Your behavior, your conduct, how you treat people can be professional and things of that nature. But as far as being a professional paranormal investigator, there's no such thing. And I wish people would stop using.
This is exactly why I love this guy, because I have said that so many times. I have had multiple times where people have me as a guest on their podcast and wanted to introduce me as a paranormal expert. Don't you dare do that. Because there's no such thing as an expert in the field of pseudoscience.
It's not.
Hey, Nate, I just want to mention Vicky, your publisher, is on here.
I saw her. Hey, Vicky, how are you? So
hey, Vicky.
We're gonna kind of move on from that part of the conversation because we have a little bit more. We actually have a lot more to talk about. We may have to do a second show because I just realized we're about 25 minutes in. So we had a little bit of a discussion about this precast. So some people, they prefer Florida water. Some people prefer holy water, right? So can you tell everyone out there who is unaware of what the differences are?
Minerals.
What is the difference between holy
minerals?
Water?
Minerals. One is spiritual. One is spiritual. One is blessed by a priest or, like theological blessing. And one of them is mineral. Florida water is mineral. And I'm not saying it's not blessed, but it's not blessed to a point to where holy water is. I've seen people use them. Me personally, I don't use Florida water. but like I said, I use holy water because holy water to me on a case is a direct representation of the blood of Jesus Christ. And that's something that Florida water could never do.
Okay. No, you know what?
So minerals are what's in there. So that's the biggest, like scientifically, that's what separates it, because you have spiritually blessed water in holy water, and then you have mineral blessed water in Florida water.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So with that being said, you know I am not of the Catholic faith. We've had this discussion. I'm not. I firmly have a belief in the religion. I believe, there's a greater good, greater evil, but same could be God, Satan, however you want to word it. So let me ask you this, because I have had people criticize me in the past about bringing Florida water, holy water, sage, Palo Santo. I bring all kinds of things to an investigation for cleansing reasons. So here's the thing. Sage, as we had a little bit of discussion earlier, I want you to tell people, is sage really a cleansing tool?
Okay. I personally
question here.
I personally do not use sage. I don't, like I said, I'm more theological. I use frankincense. It's a neutralizer of any and all negative energy. Sage, on the other hand,
Okay, hang on, real quick, Shane. Let me reword this. If you are not of the Native American faith,
I'm telling you now. I had a chief on here, actually Gwen and Lee Triana's chief, and I asked him that point blank. And I said, should a non-Native American be using sage to do cleansings of houses? And he said, absolutely not.
So I apologize. I misworded that in the beginning.
If you do not have native blood, if you don't have that, don't expect it to work like magic for you. I've heard people use sage and it's very temporary. But I've also been on many, many, many cases to where people have used sage and it made their situation worse.
Yeah, and I've heard that as well. So what is your opinion on Palo Santo wood?
It's the same thing. Like I said, it's native. It's native. I would still, people use that like they like sage. But like Gwen said, whenever you're doing a cleansing using frankincense or sage or anything like that, there's one word that's in there that works for both, and that's intention.
Yes.
The intention that you put into it. I put a theological intention. I use I use frankincense to connect to God, to connect through me, to be able to put the neutralizer of negative energies inside that house using frankincense. Now, I will never tell people, don't stop using it or whatever. Listen, if you use sage, use it the right way. If you use it and it works for you, that's perfectly fine. I'll never tell you should not use something, because if it works for you, it works for you.
Yeah, it's like we were discussing earlier. I do have Native American blood.
There you go.
And when I use sage, I do it. I basically light the sage and I allow it to smolder in an abalone shell, and I use an eagle feather and I waft it. That's the way that I do it.
Traditional.
Now, on the other hand, though, like if I am not of the Christian faith or Catholic faith, but if I put the intention into the belief of the person residing in that household, and I have full intention, zero resolve for my own religion, right? But if I'm putting the intention in there, and at that moment I believe that there is the God that they believe in, it may not be as strong as someone of the faith, but would it work temporarily till I could get someone in there of the proper faith?
Absolutely. The Bible says that if you have the faith of a mustard seed, you can say that this mountain move, and it has to move. A mustard seed is the smallest seed in the world, but yet when it's planted, it makes the strongest rooted tree in the world. So a mustard seed is really small. You can't hardly see it, but it says very clear, if you have the faith of a mustard seed, that little, So it doesn't take a whole lot of faith for that to work. When you activate your belief, when you activate your intentions, when you activate going into this and you're trying to use that, that's going to be the base behind if it works or not. Because if you try to use something and you're like, well, oh, I hope this works, well, you're not going to expect a good outcome. Whether it be holy water, Florida water, sage, frankincense, anything, your intention behind it has to be connected to you and connected to your intention, your feeling, your emotion, and everything that you put into it has to be in tune with each other.
Yeah. So back in Alabama, when I was residing there, and I would take residential cases, and I knew they were of the Christian faith, right? I would do a 7-day no alcohol, no nicotine, complete cleanse, because I know that's kind of a process to do a proper cleansing. You have to have a cleansed body to do a proper cleansing, and it always seemed to at least work until I could get someone else in there to help them, because I know that I'm not of the faith, so it's only going to be a temporary fix.
That's exactly right. But at least you do that, and then you're honoring the fact that you're going in and trying to do that temporary fix, and that you're honest about it, because that's one thing that you have to be honest with yourself too. If you go into a case and there's doubt there, that doubt is going to be shown. That doubt is going to be a result of why these people aren't going to get the proper help that they need.
I agree.
So you did it. You do it right. Like I said, if I go into a case where I feel like it's an evil entity or somewhere demonic and things of that nature, you fast, you pray, you go to confession, you confess your sins, you seek forgiveness for your sins. So none of that stuff can be used against you when you're going against a force that is against you.
Correct. So can I also ask you, so many people out there, which I know, with the Catholic Church and what you do and all this other stuff, demons, they are a real thing. And I believe they are. I don't believe that they don't exist, okay? But can I ask you, do you believe that sometimes when people say that they have a demon, it's actually just a person that was a nasty human in life that left behind a nasty residue that they just kind of have to deal with? It may not necessarily be a demon, because you may not be getting the mocking of the Trinity. You may not be getting the 3 knocks. You may not be getting the 3 scratches. You may not. There's the smell of sulfur. There's so many different variations that can go into a demonic infestation as compared to a nasty human entity. Nasty human entities, they can cause smells too. They can bite you. They can scratch you. They can knock. So can I ask you if you could even give this information based on your knowledge? How would one differentiate between a demonic haunting or demonic infestation, I'm going to say, and just a nasty person that just happens to leave a nasty residue? Is there a way to differentiate?
First, I'd like to tell you, first of all, let's just put this out there. Don't get a YouTube education. Don't watch YouTube.
No,
Don't listen, because I work cases on a regular basis, and I'm gonna tell you right now, the percentage of cases that I work that are actually demonic are 1%.
They're very rare.
1%, because you can hash it down to mental illness, psychological. There could have been, like I said, if you're evil in life, you're evil in death. If you're good in life, you're good in death. If you're bad in life, you're bad in death. So I mean, there could be that too. But there's ways that you can definitely tell.
I love that kitty.
I know. I've got so many of them trying to crawl on me right now.
Brother. I love cats.
But there's stages that you can tell, and there's things that you can definitely tell, and you hit on quite a few of those. And listen, I call the first stage either manifestation or encroachment. And encroachment is something that intrudes or has the power to influence whatever it encounters. Think about that for a second.
Yes.
Think about that. That's encroachment. So you got to think manifestation. When it goes on, it makes itself known. It tries to latch on to something, and then it moves from that to infestation. And in infestation, that's where it latches on to items or something in your house. You may have a washing machine that throws out the way, or a bed that gets turned over, or something of that nature. But
Or
because then
even in some cases, you get random infestation of rodents and insects.
Right. Well, I'm talking about the demonic itself. I'm talking about the demonic
Oh,
itself.
okay. I
When you
misunderstood.
go
Okay.
for the infestation there, because it goes right from infestation to oppression, and then it goes from the objects that are inside the house to the actual person, to where it starts affecting your thoughts, starts affecting your sleep. You start getting paralysis. You start having sexual nightmares, like you're almost being raped by an incubus or a succubus. So I mean, there's ways that it tries, because then it goes from oppression into possession. And then
Yep.
once it has come into your house, it's made itself known. It has affected your appliances. It affected things around you. It has messed with you physically. You have heard the knocks. You've heard the scratches. Things have moved in your house, and then it starts affecting your brain, starts affecting you physically. And then that's what it tries to do, because then it has
Full control.
to go in and fully possess you.
Full control. Yeah, no, I agree with all four of those stages. I agree 100%. So, and here's the thing: is sometimes people think that the entity has to be invited in. It doesn't always have to be invited in.
No,
It
no, no,
does.
no, 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 and that's part of encroachment too, is because if you look at that, it's something that intrudes and has the power to influence. See,
Yes.
some people,
Yes.
that's the key word right there, influence whatever it comes around. Now, you can have someone that is a weak-minded person, and they come in and they use something like a Ouija board if they don't know what they're doing, or tarot cards and they don't know what they're doing, and they think they're playing the game, and then they open up something that they don't, and then they get an unclean spirit that's attached to them. That is the invitation. That's the thing there they invite. And
So
like I said,
another
I know people that use Ouija boards and stuff like that, but I hope people use them that know what they're doing, that know how to open,
Agreed.
that know how to
Agreed.
close. Because if you go in thinking that, oh, this is just a game that you're going to play on a Saturday night, and I'm going to sit there with my child and we're going to see if we can talk to grandfather, and then you open up something and something moves in your house, and then all of a sudden you let go of the planchette
Getting
or
told to
something like that,
circle.
and you don't close it, and then you have an open portal up there for any and everything to come through.
Agreed. Agreed. And a lot of people also overlook, because I agree with you 100% on that. But another avenue of entrance is addiction.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. We can't see now. That's funny how you say that. Like addiction, alcoholism, abuse, anger, and things like that. We consider that the spirit of.
Yes.
So see, there's a spirit of addiction. There's the spirit of anger, the spirit of abuse, and stuff like that. Those are all things that can be gathered together against you. When a negative energy is trying to influence you.
Yes. And when you are doing that and you're in that addictive state, it makes you so much more susceptible for something to come in from the outside. You don't even have to invite it. It's just going to invade.
Right, right, right. And that's what I'm
And
saying. Influence whatever it encounters. It influences whatever it encounters. What it's doing is looking, and then what it tries to do is, like, you go in and encroachment. You'll hear the scratching. You'll hear the three knocks, to the mockery of the Trinity. You hear stuff like that. That what it does is it gets your attention. It gets your fear level up. It gets you, Chloe, and it gets your feet, because Angie's climbing on the floor. But
dude, you've
no,
got like
no.
what do they call that thing that goes around your neck? You've got like a thing of cats there. I love it.
Oh yeah. I've got so many around me right now. Yeah,
I love
I've,
it.
I've got a lot around me right now.
I love cats, man.
Oh
Cats
yeah,
bring
oh yeah.
good energy.
We do, we love them too. You know, they are a pain, and they're a lot of work.
Oh, they are. But you
They're
know
a
what
lot of
though?
work.
I would rather have a cat to a dog any day. Since
Mhm.
I've only owned one dog in my life, and that I kind of feel like her passing is what's caused everything that happened with me that got me into the paranormal. But that's another conversation for maybe another show.
Yeah, right.
But no, I love cats, man. Like they're awesome. They want attention when they want attention. They don't care if you're on camera or not.
Yeah,
Yeah, they don't care.
that white one that you just saw next to me, if you didn't notice him, I was moving it like this. That's because he was nudging. He was trying to get the camera out of my hand because he knows that I was on it.
That is awesome. So I see we got about 18 minutes left, Shane. So let's get into the Bridging the Seen and Unseen podcast. Okay. I know you have your podcast there. So please tell the viewing audience, like, what is all that about? What kind of guests do you have on? And what kind of issues and discussions do you tackle?
When I first started bridging the seen and unseen, you know, because me being clergy and things of that nature, you know, I wanted a platform where I could bridge the gap between paranormal and clergy. I wanted to let the paranormal world know, say, hey, there are clergy here that are willing to work with you. We are willing to work with you. You know, we don't have that base to where it's like, oh, you know, we're not going to call everything demonic. You know, if you've got a haunting, you know, we'll actually go in and we'll look and we'll try to see if you really do. And if you do, we've tried to help you with that problem. You know, so the guests that I have on, you know, are people that have paranormal teams. I bring clergy on, and everyone that I've had, even the clergy that I've had on, I've had bishops on and things of that nature, that have said that they also work inside the paranormal. You know, they don't consider themselves paranormal clergy. They're just like me. They're clergy that works inside of paranormal. But we have guests like that, and you know, our goal was to bridge the gap between paranormal and clergy, and so
I love it.
we wanted to open up the field so people can get an understanding of of clergy that works with paranormal, that when we go and we teach classes or we go to a team or whatever, we teach you about grounding, we teach you about cleansing, we teach you about clearing, we teach you about demonology, we teach you about how to recognize certain things, we teach you, and paranormal teams can use like orders like mine. Like if you have
I
an
agree.
issue going on, you know, you can always reach out to us, and I am very responsive. If you reach out to me and you ask me a question, I will be there to the best of my ability to help any
Right then.
way that you can.
And I concur with that because I think the longest it's ever taken you to reply to one of my messages was like 3 minutes.
Yeah. See,
He's
I
always
check.
there if you need him, especially.
Always.
I'm on because I always want to be available for people, you know. And then sometimes you
But
may have
Bridging
a
the
client,
Seen,
you may have a client that lives out of town or whatever, that you might be able to walk them through, you know, helping them even digitally like this. You know, I have done cleansings for like like this, but the person has to have the faith, the intention behind it. They go get the holy water and they have it, and
exactly.
we do the entire cleansing just like I would do with me on the phone right there. And then they tell me, they said, hey, I really appreciate it, that works, my family's had more peace than what they've ever got. It doesn't
Mhm.
happen a lot, but it does happen.
So you actually just answered my next question. And my next question, without you knowing, because I didn't tell you my questions, was going to be: is it plausible if a say a paranormal team that's watching this right now, right? They need help cleansing a house, and they don't know how to properly do it, and they don't want to put the clients in any more danger with us. I'm just going to keep that comment to myself. But is there a way to do it virtually? And you just
Yeah,
basically answered that.
yeah.
Yes, there is.
We can do that, and we also train the people in paranormal teams.
Mhm.
I trained a big team out of Ohio. I train them on, cleansing, clearing, cleansings, proper grounding, protection in, out of a place before and after, prayer that you can use, a strong spiritual warfare prayer that you can use inside there, and I taught a whole class for that entire team.
I have been doing this for 18 years. I know a lot of cleansing techniques, but if you're willing to show me a few more, I'm always open.
Absolutely. I'd love to. I'd love to. I'd like to show you because like people just think that oh, I can just leave my house and go into, man, if you don't prep yourself, if you don't ground yourself and you don't cleanse, you don't get rid of the energy that's coming off of you before you go in, then you bring that energy into a negative energy place anyway. It just amplifies it. So why not learn how to get rid of that energy that's in or around you before you enter, and then you clear and cleanse the area around you so that when you do an investigation that you don't have that negative energy that is attached to you.
Dude, I concur with that 100% because before any investigation I go into, I always do what I like to call my grounding and centering. I ground myself, I center myself, I cleanse myself. I have two different methods. I either do a meditation or I do it in the shower, and I'm not going to describe that here because there's people watching and no one wants to hear that. But so I've got two different ways that I do it. No, it's not in the dirty way, y'all who watching this.
The water drips down my back and it goes between the hairs that are on my butt cheek.
But I picture myself covered in mud. Okay, I picture myself covered in mud, and I picture the water washing the mud off me.
Mm-hmm.
That's basically what it is. That's about as much details I'm going into.
Mm-hmm.
But grounding and centering before an investigation, and even doing it after you get back, is never a bad technique.
Nope.
It is a good way to protect yourself.
It's a great way.
Many people overlook that.
And people that are with you. You may have somebody with you that comes on there that's not as spiritual as you are, but then you tell them about what you do about protecting yourselves, and then you put the protection around them, and then their intention is to accept what you're doing, and then that also helps them in the process. So I mean, there's so many ways, and I just think it's smart to do that. If you're a paranormal team and you're going to be dealing with things in there that you're not sure of, it's just better to go ahead and ground and protect yourself before, during, and after when you go to a location.
It's what's called preventative practice.
Mm-hmm.
And Shane, for me, I would love for you to give me more knowledge on doing house cleansing in a more of a your faith kind of way. I
could definitely show you.
I do it the best way that I know how, but my way may not necessarily be right. I know that intention is everything. If I put the intent there, then it's going to be there. But I want to make sure I'm doing it properly because I don't want to leave my clients with something to deal with after I leave. And like I said, I've been doing this for 18 years, and anyone out there that's watching this is new to the paranormal. I'm telling you right now, I'm doing this for 18 years, but I have something I can learn. The moment you think you know it all, you no longer need to be in this field.
Exactly.
That's why there's no professionals, because the knowledge behind this evolves so much that there's no way that you can call yourself a master or a professional, because there's so many things that change and the variables change on a daily basis that we are a constant work in progress. When we stop learning, then the paranormal will get dull.
Yes, exactly. And and I would encourage anyone out there watching, reach out to people like Shane, reach out to people like me, people who have a little bit more knowledge than you may. You do have those off chances that there are teams that have been doing this for X amount of years, and they refuse to help new teams. I cannot stand those kind of people.
I don't know why not. Because we're all in this together. When you came into the paranormal, because you're in search of truth. Well, having that truth right there is realizing that perception is reality. That the
That's
way
very true,
people
Rez.
that when people perceive things, that becomes their reality, whether you think so or not. And we need to all be working together on this. And if you close yourself off to trying to help people or help teams or things like that, then you are limiting your interaction for true networking in the paranormal. Isn't that what the paranormal is really about?
Yes,
Is
it should be.
networking? And if you close yourself off and say, "Oh, we don't do that," then you're shutting yourself off, and it's going to turn around, and people are going to be like, "Oh, they're not going to help you anyway," and you don't ever want that stigma behind you. So that's why I opened up Outer Realms, and like I said, we're going on 3,300 members in 2 years, and you can contact me anywhere on Outer Realms, and we will be glad. We want you to network your teams.
William.
We want you to network every single thing that you got, whether you got podcasts, whether you got anything Paraflix. I'm real good with a lot of the creators of Paraflix, and they put all their stuff on my page. And I want everybody to put their stuff on because I believe in networking, and I think Nathan does too.
Networking is a huge thing. Let me tell you, after I posted my official post about my book being released today, I actually had a friend of mine text me, and they were like, "Oh, well, I guess you're in the big time now, so I guess I won't hear from you anymore." I'm like, are you talking
They know
about?
better than that if they're your friend. Mm-mm.
And they were like, "Oh, well, you got a book out now, so you're going to be a big name." No, I don't expect to make really much profit off this book. People don't realize authors, they still work full-time jobs unless you're Stephen King or Michael Crichton, right? So, no, I'm still going to be the same Nate that I was 10 years ago that I am now.
And these people that get into the paranormal field too, these people that come in that have this celebrity status.
There's no such thing.
I mean, look,
don't get me
look,
wrong.
look. I get it. I get it. I get it. There's some.
I cannot lie to you. I did fanboy a little bit when I finally got to meet John Zaffis.
Yeah, John Zappis, Jason Haas, OGs, David Childers. You got people like that that's been in forever.
David Childers a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
David Childers, David Childers, and Alora. We stayed at Broadhead Manor together, and I flew on a plane with David. I love David.
Mm-hmm.
David is amazing.
And he's OG. He's OG with it. He's OG, and that's somebody that young members that come in, that those are the kind of people that you should be watching. They try to watch all these teams on there that want to say everything's demonic and things like that, and it drives me absolutely crazy. And my wife taught me a term that I wasn't even sure of, and she told me what clickbait is, and I started noticing. Yes. I started noticing after she said that, because like for instance, we like Twin Paranormal. We know that they're a little iffy some, but like they'll put on that there's a demon right there, and then all of a sudden you'll see a scratch on their face. And she said, "You see that scratch? Now look and see if they really get that scratch," and they won't get it. And she said, "That's clickbait." And I'm like, wow.
I do not like that team. I do not. I do not. There's another guy I do not like, and I cannot remember his name for the life of me at the moment. But
we love Paranormal Nightmare.
Oh, that's a great show.
The Foreman Brothers. The Foreman Brothers. I'm Rocky Foreman is actually on our Facebook. And he'll answer a lot of stuff. I would love to get the Foreman Brothers because we have a lot in common. When it comes to them doing their cleansings and residentials like I do and my wife does, we do a lot of the same things that they do.
Well, do me a favor. Send me a link to their YouTube after the show. I'll go and subscribe to them. I'm willing to check it out. Sam and Colby. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, no.
I can't stand them either. And yes, I'm calling them out by name here on the podcast. I intend on having them on the podcast at some point.
Yes.
They've only got 15 million subscribers.
Just 15 million.
That's okay. I don't mind tackling the hard issues. If you're faking shit, you're faking shit. Sorry, I didn't mean to use.
You're not the only, I'm gonna say it like this. You're not the only person who thinks that. So.
Well, no, I was apologizing.
And that's the thing about YouTubers. That's the thing about YouTubers.
For using a cuss word in front of the father here.
Oh, brother, listen.
I'm messing with you. I'm messing with you.
I'm not going to ask anybody to change who they are. If you say something, listen, the Bible is even very clear. For all of sin and fall short of the glory of God, that puts us all in the same category. A sin is a sin. You know, we need to stop looking at it like we can categorize these sins. You know, a lot of people, it's like skyscrapers, right? You know, you got a little building and you got a big building, and that's how people look at sin. You know how God looks at sin? Above the buildings. You look at those same buildings, those little ones, big ones like that from above, and they all look the same. They all look the same size. That's exactly how we should all look at it too. A sin is a sin,
I agree.
no matter what it is.
It's like those people that tell you have to be in church every Sunday, every Wednesday, some religions every Monday. No, you don't have to. It's not your relationship with the church itself, it's your relationship with the higher being.
That's it.
That matters.
That's it. That's it. That's it. You know, it says in the Bible, it says, if two or more come together in my name, I am in the midst. Two people can form a church. We're sitting there talking about God. We're talking about Jesus right now. So we're actually having church. So, I mean, we are the body of Christ. Those as believers, we're the body of Christ. So we are the church. And I'm tired of people sitting there saying, and they put in this thing, well, if you don't go to church, you do this. Dude, when are you going to stop saying, go to church and just be the church?
You don't have to. It's your relationship with the being.
Be the church. Be the church. Be the change that you want to see. Be the reason that somebody sees Jesus in somebody. Be a good person. You know, don't give people the thing to look at you and say, oh, you call yourself a Christian? Because that's the one thing you tell people that you're going to church. They're going to look for something wrong in what you do in your character.
I'm going to tell you right now, being raised in that religion, even though I'm Wiccan now, but being raised, Southern freaking Baptists are the worst.
Yes, it's terrible.
They are the most hypocritical people in the church that you could ever meet. And I don't mean any disrespect to anyone out there that's a Southern Baptist, but I mean full disrespect. You take it for what it is.
Hey, we understand. We understand. Remember, I told you I was a pastor for 3 years. I was a pastor of the Southern Baptist Church. I've got sermons online from that church, and theologically, they're sound. They're doctrinated.
Yes.
They're really, really good as far as theologically doctrinated. But being judgmental and things of that nature. I mean, some of the worst people that I have ever met in my entire life are in church every single Sunday.
You got it.
So, Shane, I see we're hitting it about the time frame, but very rare offer here. Are we good to run about 5 or 10 minutes over?
Yeah.
Good. Let's go.
I think this is the first show I've ever offered that for.
Good. I appreciate it, man.
Gwen, is this not the first show I've ever offered that?
I think you went over a couple minutes, but you weren't loving it. So, yeah.
No, but that's what I'm good for, because me and Shane, we have a discussion that we have to have about a pastor who claims to be a pastor.
Oh, yeah.
I sent him some TikTok videos of, and Gwen, I would have sent the videos to you, but I didn't want you to post them on the podcast because they're so freaking distasteful.
Talk about that guy. Talk about what you saw when you saw that. Because he messaged me like right after. He messaged me right after, and then I watched it, and I was like, man, oh man.
Like, so may I quote a few things without it being my own personal interpretation?
You quote anything that you need to, because he was way out there.
Do not let the Lord's word lurk in your mouth without allowing it to bust into your brain.
This guy in particular, he was using sexual innuendos to refer to his worship in God.
Nothing but.
Very sexual.
Go ahead, Shane. I'm sorry.
No, very sexual in nature. My wife saw it and
It's
she didn't
disgusting.
like it either. But we have come to a conclusion, and my wife is very, analytical when it comes to things like that too. And she even said, that guy is probably he's not even a priest. He's not. But I didn't like the fact that like he was sitting in an office. It looked like he had books like around him. He was dressed as a priest. He was,
Yeah.
but I felt like he was mocking what
Yes.
Christianity stands for.
He was not. Here's the thing, Shane, and you know me, okay? You know I'm not of your faith. But when I contact someone who is of the faith, because it bothers me that much, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Because I may not be of your faith, but I'll be damned if I allow anyone to disrespect the faith.
And I greatly appreciate that, man. You're a stand-up guy, and that just speaks to your character. That speaks to who you are, and that's what separates you from other people. It's one thing to not believe, and it's one thing to not believe and be judgmental, and to make people question who you are as a person. And after I watched that guy, I seriously questioned, his authenticity, number one, and two, his character, his judgment on why he would want to put a video out there on TikTok.
And dude, I didn't even send you the worst one.
Wow.
That was a light one. They get worse. And let me tell you, when I reached out to the guy and asked him if he'd come on my podcast, he was like, "Oh, well, I'm a nothing guy. You don't want me on your podcast." I said, "No, I really do. I want you on my podcast." He said, "Why?" I said, "Because I invite all people of all faiths on my podcast. I mean, you seem to have an interesting outlook. I would like to have you come on my podcast." Yes, I lied a little bit there. Forgive me. But I was like, because my intent was to have Father Shane and Father Bob on the same podcast with him.
That would have been interesting for sure. Well, that could still happen, you know.
You know what?
He won't do it. He won't do it.
I think I can convince him.
I think I could probably convince him too.
I think it's going to take a little bit more time. But he's like, "Well, I don't know why you want me on my why you want me on your podcast." I said, "Because I think you have an interesting outlook." And he's like, "Well, what? Explain interesting outlook." I said, "Well, the way that you explain the way that you should take faith, I just find it interesting. So I'll be curious to have you come on my podcast and explain why do you take, your faith in the way that you teach it to the standpoint that you do." And I've not gotten a response after that. I think he kind of caught on.
He definitely doesn't want to get on because like I said, I've studied theology for 30 years. So I mean, I really do my homework. When it comes to theology, and theology is broke down into two words in the Greek, and it's called theos and logos, and it literally means the study of God. And the thing is like it should be respected. There's a reverence behind it. And when you study right there, the Bible says that you study to show yourself approved unto God. You don't study to make a mockery of God's word, because
I agree.
God will not and cannot be mocked. And he made a direct mockery of God and his word.
And excuse my language here, but this piece of shit basically went and bought a Temu priest outfit with a collar and all. Like, he's making himself look professional. But the shit that he was spewing is sickening.
But let's just say, do you really think that guy? Do you really think he is a? You really think he is a priest?
You do, from the way he looks.
I mean, that's the thing that confuses people. But my wife was even like, that guy is probably not even a priest. He's probably doing that. But I mean, to put that kind of content out is so disrespectful.
It's disgusting.
and
That's why I'm not
it's
mentioning it.
it's disgusting. And there's, I mean, if you're a comedian trying to do that, there's way more things that you can make. I know Christian comedians that are better than comedians that will be against Christianity, and I know some really good ones. But to do what you did is a complete mockery of the
Yes,
word
I
of
agree.
God. It's a complete mockery of the nature, the character, and the existence of God. And what he has done is blasphemy against God. And
Oh,
that
oh,
is
a hundred,
wrong.
150%, if not more. I agree with you. There's a difference between satire comedy and just being straight disrespectful. And when someone is not of the faith shares it to someone that I know is of the faith, and I'm like,
I
dude,
mean, he was messaging me and he said, "Hey, look at this really quick." And he wanted my opinion like right off. So I knew it was something. And then I watched it and then we were talking. And I mean, and for him to reach out to me that quick like that, then I knew something was up. That if it bothered
it's
him like that,
disgusting.
then it would definitely bother me. And it did bother me.
It's disgusting. And I would love, I would love nothing more than to get him on a podcast with you and Father Bob, so you guys can rip him a new asshole. Excuse my language. From two people that are actually of the faith.
Exactly.
When he
They
is
really
like
are of the faith.
a low rent, you can buy it at Dollar General emo puppet of the faith.
Right. And then
I just can't stand it.
I don't know if he'll ever do it. You know, Gwen. I mean, you can try to get him on and
I'll
and
try.
listen and
That's
listen,
my
Nathan.
job.
You'll have my word. You'll have my
That's
word.
my magic.
Hey, whatever time, whatever date, whatever place, whatever it is,
'Cause
I'm there. I'm there for
dude
that interview.
that dude is disgusting. And like
I'll
I
try.
told you, Shane, I didn't even show you the worst video. Like it's disgusting. But guys, we're about out of time now. Actually, we're well over out of time. But
Well, oh
thank
yeah,
you so much for hanging out a little bit longer, Shane. If you wouldn't mind hanging out in the background for like another 5 or 10 minutes.
yeah.
But before we go, Shane, tell everyone where they can find you.
Yes.
Where can they link up with you? You know, push your platforms, push your podcast. You know, push your shit. Excuse my
Angie
language.
and Shane
Sorry.
McLean, my wife and I share a Facebook, you know, so Angie and Shane McLean, you know, you can always message us directly there. Outer Realms Paranormal, we are the founders of Outer Realms Paranormal. You can message me there. Um, Knights Templar, Independent Catholic Ministry, that page, you can find me there. There's so many areas that you can find me, and guys, I'm a wide open book. I mean,
I know, Morgan.
I'm very responsive. So if you guys have any questions, you have any issues that you're dealing with, anything, you can even message me and say, "Hey, could you say a prayer for my dad?" You know, it doesn't have to be something that we publicly put out there. You can message me and I will pray with you, not 5 minutes from then, but right then.
He really will.
Well, I got two more things for you. I apologize. I forgot I have some closing questions. But also, after the cast, not now, I need you to say a prayer for my parents. And then we'll
I got
revisit
you.
that after the cast.
I got you.
Okay, so you and your wife are a joint effort here, right? You have one haunted location on your bucket list that you've never been to. Where are you going?
I want to go all years plus Sally.
Like together,
Yeah.
together,
Together.
first off. Well,
Together.
we
You know
have
what?
like,
I will give you the option of choosing separate because she wasn't expecting this.
well, I can tell you now, Waverly is definitely one of them.
And the Sally house.
Waverly, the Sally House, Haunted Hill House, the Axe Murder House in Iowa. You
The
know,
list goes.
we definitely want to go to some of those. We have a bucket list of ones that we want to, because her and I don't get a chance to go to a lot of these well-known locations because of the residentials that we work. But we
Right.
would much rather do that and work residentials and help people than do that. But we do want to get into some investigations where Angie and I can just go and have some fun in that investigation.
I love it. I love it. So We're going to go ahead and exclude the Sally House because I think the Sally House is a thought form. I think it's an egregore. I don't really think there's a spirit there. Villisca Axe Murder. I love that location. I've never been there personally, so we're just going to go with that because that's on my bucket list, and maybe we can.
Do you know about Haunted Hill House?
Together. So we're going to go with Villisca Axe Murder House.
Have you ever heard of the Haunted Hill House in Mineral Wells, Texas?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
I know the owners. I'm friends with the owners of that.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I may or may not be doing a Paracon in Texas next year. I'm still waiting on details. So
You let me know, Sonny. I know Sonny. I talked to him. I talked to them both. They actually have they rent out the house, and I can get a good price. I'll tell you another one that I want to go to. I want to go to Hinsdale.
Oh, Hinsdale. Yes. I would love to go to Hinsdale.
And I'm friends with him on Facebook. I'm friends with him on Facebook also.
Yes, I know I'm not going to that house without you, Morgan. But okay, so we're gonna go with Villisca Axe Murder House, right? You got one person that has been involved in the paranormal, dead or alive. Who are you bringing with you, and why?
A person dead or alive, somebody that we would bring with us. Yeah, probably Angie's mom.
Okay, so why?
She passed. She died of ovarian cancer, but she was probably one of the best women. But she also, not only did she have a faith in God, but she knew that paranormal existed too. And I think she would love to do that.
I love it. I love it.
Mhm.
All right, so we got the Villisca Axe Murder House. We got the mom. You can only bring one piece of paranormal equipment with you, nothing else. What are you bringing with you?
Probably Spirit Box. Spirit Box or yeah, Spirit Box, because we can use it not only for the communication but Estes method, things of that nature. So I'd have to go with Spirit Box, but also EVPs too.
I love it. I love it. Those are all great answers, guys. Thank you so much for your wife for participating there.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I wanted to include her as well. Hey Angie, thank you for participating. But Shane, if you wouldn't mind hanging out in the background for about 5 minutes, we're gonna go ahead and end the show. I'm running about 13 minutes over. I'm kind of like a time Nazi.
But is. It's okay, Nate. It's okay.
Look, you let me do my thing, woman.
I do. Angie's laughing at
it. But it was a great conversation.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on, and
it's been a blast, man. It's always a blast with you, man. And anytime that you ever want me to come back or do anything like that, I'm all game for it.
I promise.
This has been a great show, man. I really enjoyed this show.
It has been really great.
No, you would definitely be back because I have more questions that we didn't get to that were on my list. But I told you, we don't always stick to the list. It kind of goes with the conversation goes. But I'll definitely have you back if you wouldn't mind just hanging on for like 5 minutes, like grandmother closing ads and stuff.
My wife wanted you guys to know something anyway. She wants our son just turned 21 years old on the 29th of last month, and he just turned 21, and he is a skeptic all the way around.
So he would be really
so he would be the kind of person that if we took who is alive right now and we were to take him to an area and he actually experienced something, let me tell you something, if he experiences something, he'll never not believe.
Here's the thing, you're only a skeptic until you experience something that you cannot explain.
That's true.
It's like that. Mike Tyson said everybody's tough until they get punched in the mouth.
No, Mike Tyson said everyone's tough until I decide to bite your ear off.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, but the first thing you said was everybody's a tough guy until they get punched in the mouth. It's the same way.
Fact.
That's true.
But Shane, thank you so much for coming on tonight, man. I greatly appreciate you, and I will definitely have you on for another show because we have so much more to talk about.
Awesome. It's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you very much.
Hey, hang on in the background, okay?
5 minutes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you in a minute.
All right.
So Gwen, what did you think of the show?
Well, both of you are my guys on the network, and I think that makes it even better.
So personally,
It's
you can ask us questions. I wish
it's
it
really
sometimes. Damn.
No, I'm listening to you guys because Florida water.
Calm down.
I know, but no, the Florida water and stuff. I love that explanation. That because you know what, I bet that is a question people have thought of and don't think to ask.
No, you know what? I personally did not know the answer until I asked them the question.
Yeah.
First call for the show, of course.
Well, I'm doing the same thing. So, but no, the show is good. I love you and Shane together. You're not afraid to ask. He's not afraid to answer. I think it's great.
I really enjoyed the show. Guys, this was the Paranormal Unveiled podcast with Reverend Shane McLean.
Yes.
And I hope you enjoyed the show. Please tune in next week as I welcome Joshua Adelia.
Cool.
It's going to be a great show. Don't miss out.
All right. Good night, everybody.